Hey guys, welcome back to an all-new episode of the Chuckload of Comics show, your source for nerd news, movie reviews, comic book talk, everything that happened in the world of fandom over the past 7 days. We break it down for you every single Sunday right here on YouTube. If this is your first time to the Chuckload of Comics show, welcome to the program, welcome to the channel. Take a second, click that subscribe button, and join us here every single Sunday for a breakdown of all the geeky news, the nerdy headlines that happened this week. And honestly, this week there was a bevy, a veritable smorgasbord. Am I saying that right? Smorgasbord of nerd news that dropped, guys. Bill and Ted 3. We got our first look at the Bill and Ted Face the Music trailer. We're going to be reading some of the Twitter reactions from you, the fans, on what people think of the new trailer. I loved it, but I know a lot of you guys out there didn't, according to your Twitter reactions. So we're going to be reading those up in just a bit. HBO Max announced that they are removing some of the fan-favorite DC titles from their just recently launched streaming service. We're going to break down all the titles that are already leaving HBO Max in July. And finally, the next Batman game on PlayStation 5. We have a leaked title, and they also leaked on Reddit the universe that this game may reside in. So lots of gaming news for you gamers at the end of the show. Before we get into all that stuff, guys, quick announcement. If you see the logo behind me, Mainframe Comic-Con just this week rolled out the newest addition to the MainframeComicCon.com website, Mainframe Comic-Con News. The newest addition to the Mainframe website is a daily news page where viewers and fans can stay up to date on nerd news happening every single day in the world of fandom. We have amassed some of the top writers and periodicalists, including Annie Banks. Big shout out to Annie. She is heading up our news department. You know her from Rotten Tomatoes. She writes for a lot of periodicals, fan news sites around the Chicago area. So thank you very much, Annie, for heading up this new news site. So you won't find any political stories or world-shattering headlines on Mainframe News. No, it is strictly sticking to the fun stuff. And we only are reporting on the news that matters most. That news, of course, is movie news, comic book news, television news, video game news. So go to mainframe.com, mainframecomiccon.com, and click on the news tab, or just follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just, we got a Facebook page, we got an Instagram page. All the news is going to be dropping on those and on the mainframecomiccon.com site. So I implore you, check it out, man. We've already got about 5 or 6 news stories up that dropped this week, including the ones we're about to get into. So check it out, mainframecomiccon.com/news. So speaking of news, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and break down this week's top nerd news. Check it out. All right, guys, big nerd news. The first nerd news story of the week, Bill and Ted Face the Music. We finally got our first look at what this movie's going to look like. The trailer dropped, I believe, on Monday, and Twitter went batshit crazy for it. We're going to read Twitter reactions from you, the fans, most of which were very positive. I really enjoyed the trailer, but I will admit, it took me a couple viewings. I've been waiting for this trailer for a really, really long time, so I didn't know quite what to expect. I liked it the first time I saw it, but the more I watched it, the more and more I fell in love with it. It's a real short trailer. I got to recommend, keep on watching it. If you're a fan of Bill and Ted and the first viewing didn't really knock your socks off, watch it again. Watch it 3-4 more times, because it is really a fan service kind of a trailer. Some really funny stuff dropped in there. So let's go ahead and read some of what you guys are saying about the Bill and Ted 3 trailer. The first one obviously comes from Bill and Ted 3's official Twitter page. They wrote, "Whoa, the wait is finally over, dudes. Keanu Reeves and Et Winter," of course that's Alex Winter, "star in the first official trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music. Watch now, and remember, be excellent to each other." So that was the first little tease we got of Bill and Ted on the official Bill and Ted Twitter page. Well, you people reacted. We're going to read some of the positives, some of the middle of the roads, and some of the negatives right now. So some positives. The first one comes from David Quantic. Wrote, "I don't care if it's awful, it will be great because it's Bill and Ted 3. I totally agree, David. It could be just shit in a shoebox, and I would still get excited about the movie. Keith Phillips writes, the trailer seems to suggest... This is an interesting one. Let me just stop. He gets really deep and philosophical in this one, which I kind of like. Keith Phillips writes, the trailer seems to suggest the subtext of the sequel will be about Gen X's failure to make the world a better place. So maybe instead of being years late, it will be perfectly timed. So Gen X's failure to make the world a better place? You kind of hit the nail on the head there, Keith. Next one comes from Stephanie Farr. Stephanie wrote, you had me at the Orion Pictures logo, which gave me mad VHS flashbacks. Well, you actually had me at Keanu, but that logo was a serious bonus. Every time I see that Orion Pictures logo, you see it every now and again on pictures, and they still stick to that original 1980s looking logo. That got me excited, so I completely agree with you, Stephanie. Every time I see that logo, I get a little goosebumps going on. This next one's sort of a cautiously optimistic review and tweet. Comes from Jay Bowman. Jay writes, the best thing about this series is the increasingly absurd alternate iterations of Bill and Ted introduced in Bogus Journey, and this new one seems to be embracing that same kind of weirdness. We get midlife crisis Bill and Ted and buff prison Bill and Ted. I am cautiously optimistic. Good point, Jay. Everybody that saw Bill and Ted Bogus Journey, you know we saw the robot version, the evil robot us's from Bill and Ted Bogus Journey. Now we're going to get the prison buff Bill and Ted. Hopefully, prison buff Bill and Ted roll around with original Bill and Ted in the movie, and we get a lot of prison buff. Because honestly, that was like the highlight of the entire trailer, was prison buff Bill and Ted. So let's get into a couple of the negatives. They're real short. First one comes from Ollie Gibbs. Ollie Gibbs writes, turns out I didn't need a Bill and Ted 3. Ollie clearly did not like it. Sounds like you were really excited about it, but did not dig it. Turns out I didn't need a Bill and Ted 3. Next one comes from Hans Goober. Hans Goober writes, I never watched the original Bill and Ted, but honestly, I think this new one just looks like a bad idea. You know, Hans, maybe this movie isn't for you. Clearly, this is a fangasm kind of a movie. You got to be a Bill and Ted fan, I think, to really get into this movie. Because really, I mean, this movie's made for the fans. It's made for people who grew up watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and later on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Not a big fan of Bogus Journey myself, I gotta say. I've rewatched it so many times. Don't dig it. It has its moments. So hopefully Bill and Ted Face the Music is a little more akin to Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure than it is to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section. What did you think about the Bill and Ted trailer? Did you like it? Did you absolutely hate it? Are you middle of the road like some of these were? We'd love to hear about it in the comment section of this video. So next big nerd news story that dropped this week, guys. This actually dropped on Mainframe News at mainframecomiccon.com/news. HBO Max is dropping some of its DC fan favorite films. The streaming service, if you didn't notice, HBO Max became available to patrons on May 27th this year, obviously 2020, where it originally had advertised itself as the home of DC entertainment. That's quoting the people over at HBO Max. Well, contrary to that selling point, it seems that HBO Max is kind of taking it back on its word just a little bit and walking back on its product. Although HBO Max, the streaming service, is still in the first few weeks of its life, Warner Media is not shying away from limiting its library for subscribers right off the bat, which I don't really understand. If you're going to open huge, get your biggest titles out there and keep them up there. So until more people subscribe to it, don't do what Disney Plus did and just roll out with just a couple of titles. You got them all, man. You got so many DC titles, so many HBO titles you could roll out. So coming this July, an alarming number of DC movies will be removed from the streaming service's array of titles to choose from, despite the DCEU's most popular films being a heavy selling point for HBO and Warner Media. Like I said before, they said this was going to be the home for DC entertainment, and they're already pulling the DC films. So what movies are getting removed from HBO Max coming up this July? Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice is going to get yanked in July. Wonder Woman, which is a massive surprise. They're yanking Wonder Woman. It's up now. It's going to get pulled in July. Suicide Squad, Batman Returns, Batman, the original Batman, Catwoman, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, the Lego Batman movie. I don't know why you're pulling that one. That's a fan favorite one. Jonah Hex, Steel, and The Losers. All of these DC titles are going to be removed this July. I don't get it, man. Like, let us know in the comments section. What do you think? I think it's kind of a bonehead move. At least Wonder Woman and Lego Batman. At least keep those two up there. Don't really get it. So this isn't the only complaint I have about HBO Max, and a lot of you people out there have about HBO Max. At the time of this taping, anyway. If you're watching this in reruns, don't jump down my ass. But at the time of this taping, there was no streaming app in some of the more widely used devices. There's no app for HBO Max on Amazon Fire. There's no app for HBO Max on Roku. You can only really watch it on your phone and stream to your television. My cat's freaking out over here. So obviously the big selling point for HBO Max that dropped a couple weeks ago is the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. But that's not coming till 2021. So that was your big advertisement, is the Snyder Cut. Maybe, let me know what you think about this. Maybe they're pulling some of these DC titles because they don't want to sort of pollute what the Snyder Cut's going to be. Maybe the Snyder Cut's going to be so different than where they were going with the original Justice League that maybe watching Wonder Woman might... Maybe they're steering the ship in a completely different direction with the Snyder Cut and they don't want Wonder Woman to confuse it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Really curious. You have any excitement level for HBO Max at all? I have it, but I haven't even watched it yet. So I do have a login. I plan to watch Doom Patrol. That trailer dropped this week, which looks absolutely awesome, but kind of bummed they're pulling some of the DC films, and especially Batman vs. Superman and Wonder Woman. I like Batman vs. Superman, by the way. So let us know in the comment section, guys, what do you think about DC Max as a whole and the news that they're going to be pulling some of the favorite DC titles. So next and final big nerd news story of the week, the next Batman game title and the universe in which it resides may have been leaked on Reddit this week. It seems as though the title for the next Batman video game on PS5 might have been leaked, like I said, even though the game hasn't been officially announced. I thought maybe with this leak that perhaps they would announce the Batman game at the big Sony conference that happened this week. Well, they didn't say anything about a Batman game. This week, like I said, I don't know if you guys watch this, but fans of the Sony PlayStation watch this Sony kind of like conference that was this week. They watched it with bated breath as Sony released its plans for the new PlayStation 5 system. We got a look at the hardware, the console, the controller, and some of its flagship game titles, with a very special look at the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. Looks absolutely dope. There was a Resident Evil trailer for a game that dropped, but nothing about Batman. But if you're a fan of Reddit, if you watch Reddit, you might have noticed this leak by a Reddit user gave us a glimpse of what fans of the Batman game may have to look forward to from the system. This screenshot right here, it leaked online, giving us what most people believe to be the title of the new game. It says Capture the Night. It's got all the official logos up there. It looks very, very, very legit. And, of course, you see the Batman symbol right at the top above where it says Capture the Night. That is not your typical Batman symbol. That looks very similar to the Batman Beyond symbol. So we could be getting a Batman Beyond game on PlayStation 5. Batman Beyond, killer place to have a Batman game. If you were fans of the old Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man, you remember the one, it had Venom in it, and you were hopping in and out of comic book tiles and pages and stuff. Hopefully Batman Beyond is just that weird neo-crazy looking sort of universe that Ultimate Spider-Man played in. Hopefully that's the case. And Capture the Night, what's that all about? Capture Batman, is he going to be on the run? We don't know. But so the big question is, when will we learn more about this Batman game? Because like I said, they didn't announce anything about it at the Sony conference that happened this week. Well, prominent YouTuber Nightwing01, he recently revealed that he's heard that the game will be revealed in August, which seems to suggest it'll be revealed by itself and by people over at Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. In fact, actually, the YouTuber, his name is Nightwing01, adds that he's heard that Warner Brothers wants to be the one to reveal the game, which seems to kind of rule out a Gamescom reveal in August. Gamescom comes out, like I just said, in August, or it makes an appearance at the rumored PS5 event. So there's rumorings that there's going to be just a PlayStation 5 event coming this August, and of course there's Gamescom. Maybe these two will kind of wrap up and they'll announce at the exact same time. Who knows? But allegedly they'll be reveal more games for the PlayStation 5 console at the PS5 event or at this Gamescom. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think this Reddit little post is complete bullshit? You think it's just something somebody just made? Is it a fan piece? It looks very legit to me. So what do you think? You think there's a possibility it's going to be Batman Beyond? Let us know in the comment section, guys. Really curious what you think. I will say I'm not a huge gamer, but I do love the Batman Arkham games and the Spider-Man game on PlayStation 5. So I'm stoked. I hope it is a Batman Beyond because that game would be awesome. Absolutely awesome, guys. So there you go. That is our nerd news for the week, guys. What'd you think of the show? Did any of these news stories jump out at you? Let us know in the comments section. So that's it, guys. We hope you have a fantastic week. Be sure to go to mainframecomiccon.com/news for daily nerd news updates from our news correspondent, Annie Banks. Thanks a lot, Annie, for churning out the top nerd news every single day. And follow us on social media, Mainframe on Instagram, Mainframe on Twitter, Mainframe on Facebook. So have a great week, guys. Hope to see you here next Sunday. I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Have a fantastic week. See you here next Sunday.